Okay, just following on from the previous two videos where we were building up a concept model in Rhino, I just wanted to follow on with this so it had some logic in terms of being used for traditional rendering. Once the model has been built in your 3D modeling package and you've just got some basic forms to work with, you can then print those out, or alternatively import them into Photoshop as an underlay and then work over the top of them as if you had a sheet of tracing paper or bleed proof paper, and then you can build up the design based on the rough massing model that you've gotten out of the 3D modeling package. This is an efficient way to use the software because you don't have to invest heaps of time to get photorealistic results at the initial stage of the design process. All you've got to do is invest enough time to get the basic massing correct, and then you can manipulate that into whatever perspective position you require. You can then use these rough mock-ups in meetings with clients or in the office situation, where you can just draw very quickly straight over the top here. And in this case, even though it's done in Photoshop, it can be done on screen that way using a stylus, or in the case of working with traditional media, you can just work over the top with a broad face pen. Once you've got the basic massing of the design that you think is going to show potential, then you can start to render it in marker. Work on the lit face of the object to begin with, because it's a lot harder to work backwards with marker, and build up, so you can build up the tonal values working from light to dark. Working in Photoshop, in this case, we've got the advantage because we can work in both directions at the same time. The disadvantage is we're tethered to a huge computer and we've got the expense of maintaining that software and the hardware at the same time. Whereas if you're just rendering, all you're going to need is a piece of paper and a selection of pens, and you can get your designs down relatively quickly. Okay, so you can sort of see in this particular case we're working very roughly. It's a lightly reflective surface, so we're allowing some of the texture of the medium to come through. So if this is marker, you just work over it a number of times and let that variation be in place such that you get a sense of light being dappled across the lit surfaces and at the same time building up the tones on the surface. Remember to put in a drop shadow so you can ground the product down onto some sort of ground plane. And once you've built up the tonal values, if you've got time, you can then get pastel or pencil and then build up the tints working in the opposite direction. Now, this isn't as easy as it is in Photoshop, but at the same time it does give the option of getting the lighter tints and the highlights back onto the product. I mean, the overall process is just working from the broad elements of the design to get the basic massing of shadows and good tonal values, and then progressively doing the hack work and refining the elements down. So I could have worked on this for ad infinitum until I removed the key line completely and just had a fully rendered product, but in this case I don't think that was the intent. We were just trying to do a concept level presentation. So we've just got those basic values in place, and we're leaving the line work to carry some of the load. Okay, remember to do your parting lines, in this case done rather roughly. And then next to the parting line, you've got a highlight and a shadow against each other to get that sense of a casing lapping over. Just sampling colours here and there. Put in a drop reflection from a bitmap. In your particular case, if you're working with traditional media, all you have to do is just wash a little bit of blue pastel over the top to give a sense of that sky reflection. And in this particular case, I've erased it on one side, so we've got those warm earthy tones on one side of the product and a sense of the bluier sky tones on the opposite side of the product. So we've got that sense of the open window being on one side. Okay, I've rotated the image into a position that I liked. You could cut this out on paper if you wanted to and mount it on your final presentation if you're working in traditional media. Again, there's always parallels between what you're doing in the digital situation and what you can achieve in the using traditional media. Okay, I hope that was of assistance, and this is useful in your next design presentation. Okay, thanks, Connie. Bye.